Hello everyone, Ember Power here, and welcome back to a new video. In this one, I'm going to be taking a look at a bit of a fun deck challenge that you can try out on Pokemon TCGO. Unfortunately, you can't really try this out on TCG Live because they haven't added the XY format, so it kind of ruins it a bit. But basically, the deck challenge is kind of an amalgamation of several different formats to create a single prize challenge that follows. So basically, the rules are you can't play more than 5 Pokemon of one typing, and you can't play more than one copy of each Pokemon. So it's kind of a bit similar to GLC in that sense because you are playing with a singleton format and it's single prize, but you can mix and match the typings, so it does allow for a little bit more creativity. It's also pretty cheap to play because most of the attackers are fairly cheap, and what's nice about it is I'm not using more than 2 ofs of trainers as well, so you can obviously change a few rules around, if you want to have multiple trainers, more than 2 copies or more than 2 to 4 copies of basic energy or, more than 2 copies of special energy, that's absolutely fine. But those are the rules I'm basically experimenting with. I would also say that play at least 12 Pokemon really just kind of makes the format a little bit more interesting, or the challenge, I should say, more interesting. I would also say that I did try making decks with only 4 of each Pokemon, but then quickly realized that stage 2's just become so much worse because of it, because you'd have to run the basic, the middle evolution, the stage 2, and then, you'd only have 1 slot left for another Pokemon, which is pretty bad if you want to separate your energies quite a bit with the Pokemon. So decided 12 Pokemon minimum, and then you can play up to 5 of each typing. And those are basically the rules. I've kind of got a pretty simple deck here. It's a bit of a throwback to Garb Shrine. So Buzzball with the Sledgehammer attack does 30 damage, and if your opponent has exactly 4 prize cards remaining, this attack does 90 more. And then there's also a Garbodor, which does 20 damage for each item card in your opponent's discard pile. There's also a couple of other attackers, like there's this Circuitry with the attack 3 mirrors, does 30 damage. If your opponent has exactly 3 prize cards remaining, it does 90 more, which is pretty good. Also have a Jirachi in here, which is this Jirachi is actually in here because I forgot that I didn't have any team up Jirachi anymore, the one with the Stellar Wish, which would be a great card for this deck and a great card for any metal deck. But unfortunately, I'm just using this Dreamy Revelation one from the Voltage. Also have 1 copy of Mew. I did think about Mew from Celebrations, but then realized that Memories of Dull Mew is also just really good, so allows you to use the attacks of any basic Pokemon in play, but you still need the necessary energy in order to use each attack. Also, Encounter can get your Pokemon in a pinch, and it also has free retreat, so it's kind of nice. Also have a Neolugo with Nightcap. It says you can play this card only if one of your opponent has exactly 2 prize cards remaining. Choose one of your opponent's Pokemon's attacks and use it as this attack. And then Void Tentacles does Confusion and Poison. So those are kind of like the main attackers. There's also some Hitmonchan in here just because support from Jab does 30 damage. It's not amazing or anything. You could probably find a better Pokemon to use, but it kind of just made sense when I was playing only just stuff like Rainbow Energy, Strong Energy, Muscle Band. You could definitely try and knock out some evolving Pokemon. So figured he would be a good choice to use. And then for the support Pokemon, I went for a 1-1 line of Slugma Macargo, then a 1-1 line of Bibarel, and then a Snorlax with the ability Gourmandize. So as once in your turn, if this Pokemon was in the active spot, you may draw cards until you have 7 cards in your hand, but it does end your turn. So colorless Pokemon are traditionally a very defensive option. I did think about making room for an Aerodactyl as well, which that could be in the 4th colorless Pokemon, and then you just have to play an unidentified fossil and then maybe a triple acceleration energy. But yeah. Also have a Manaphy for bench protection, and then a cast form, which is just going to be another pivot. We can use Rainfall actually in a pinch, but not really that useful. So yeah, that's kind of like the deck challenge. If you want to have a go, I do recommend it. It's very fun. It's obviously a little bit more difficult and expanded because there's a lot of players who play tanky decks with a lot of healing items. But yeah, it's been the challenge. Thank you for watching. It's been Ember Power. Thank you for watching, and let me know what you think down below. Hope you'll see you next time. Thank you for watching.